Hello. A big part of financial practice these days is re-engaging clients that we affectionately call orphans. At my office, we call they're part of the Client Relations Center, or CRC. And these are often people who bought a few products or even put together a whole financial plan, managing risk and building wealth with somebody who's no longer with the company. They may have moved away, they may have sadly passed away. Sometimes somebody's just not in the business anymore. And so we often have a list of people that we approach and would like to at least make sure that they're receiving service. And then if they need any updates or changes, or they have an option to upgrade on something, we want to make sure that they're engaged. So a big part of my day every day is reaching out to some orphans. And the first thing that I think about with these people is they may have heard from their rep 6 months ago if he or she just left the business or suddenly died. But they may not have heard from anybody for 5 or even 10 years. They may have a policy or an annuity that was set up by a family member and they were not notified about it. All kinds of things can be going on that are not in the notes. So in my mind, when I make this phone call or send this email, is respect for where they may be. If I have notes on that person, I read them carefully. And if I don't, then I keep front of mind that they may know nothing about us except for a letter that they received probably in the last week or two. So that's really important. So I have a way to approach that by phone, and I have a way to approach that with email, and I train my trainees to do this the same way. And because I work with Northwestern Mutual people, I always am cognizant that this is a mutual company. Everybody who has a product of ours with this company is an owner. That's why it's mutual. So you approach them from a service perspective. That being said, sometimes someone at the other end of the phone or getting this email is very suspicious. They may be taken aback or in a terrible mood, and you have to kind of know that that could happen. So let's say I'm making a phone call. I would start the call by introducing myself and saying that I am from the company. I don't mention the name of the representative at first. So I would say, good afternoon, this is Christy from Northwestern Mutual. Do you have a quick moment? And if they don't, I ask if I can send them a quick email to follow up with them regarding their accounts with us. If they hang up on me, then I make a task and follow through later. If they do give me that email permission, I make sure they verify it with me because that's information I need. So that's important. And if they do say that they're willing to listen for a moment, I say that I'm following up on a letter that they received and making sure they know they have a new advisor assigned to their account. It's that simple. It's respectful. It's kind. And if they're surprised, I give them space to say so. And if they're not, if they saw the letter, I say, well, I'd love to set up a brief phone call with Jim to speak briefly, update your account, and see if you need anything further. If they ask more questions, I answer them if I can. And if I cannot, I just book that appointment. I get that on the calendar, and I set it up, and I make sure that they get follow through. If it's an email situation, I have a template that I use that kind of explains what their account, like what status they're in, and sort of give the same information that they have a different advisor now. I don't say why. It's very brief. But I'll just say your account is in our client relations department. You have a different advisor assigned. I would like to set up a short phone call. I offer some options for the time, and I sign off respectfully, and I follow up with a phone call in a day or two so that it's all very fresh in their minds. And that's how I do it. I use pleasant persistence to get these folks re-engaged, and that's all.